All right, how to stop performing for women and live a more authentic dating life that feels more aligned with who you are and less like you're wearing a mask to try to win women over and impress women or live up to some standard that you might have learned on the internet. So the first thing I want to touch on here is the idea of techniques, because a lot of performance or feeling like you're having to perform for women comes from trying to implement the right techniques. So you have this mindset of, well, there's a set of moves that I need to make. There's right moves and there's wrong moves. And if I make all the right moves, then I'll get the outcome that I want. And I need to avoid all the bad moves or else I'll get a bad outcome. And it makes logical sense, right? There are things that you don't want to do. There are things that you want to do more of, right? It's common sense. But when you over focus on techniques, you'll get into this mode of performing. You're always wondering, what's the right thing to say? What's the right move? What do I do now? What do I, and it turns into this thing to where you're just running like calculations in your mind instead of actually living in the moments, and you lose the essence of what we're doing in the first place. You're trying to make all the right moves instead of living in the moment and actually enjoying more of your life and enjoying being with a woman. The thing to understand about techniques is they are essentially training wheels and behavior correction. So they are actually useful. There's actually a lot of use for techniques. What I mean by training wheels and behavior correction is that techniques allow you to see how an interaction should go, or how the date should typically be run if you want to escalate things, or how to take it from date 1 to date 2 to date 3 or into a relationship, or how to approach a woman, or how to message girls on dating apps. Techniques will show you how things should generally look in order to have success. So they are useful. Focusing too much on techniques is not useful though. Now, techniques also play a role in behavior correction, right? And a common objection is guys will say things like, well, why can't I just be myself? And the answer to that is the current version of you may not be in alignment with where you're trying to go. It may not be fulfilling your highest potential either. So in terms of alignment with where you're trying to go, you may be a guy that wants to date, the 8, 9s, and 10s and all this stuff, and you want to do it in person rather than on dating apps. You don't want to use dating apps. You're one of these guys that say like, dating apps don't work. I want to talk to girls in real life, so on and so forth. But the current version of you is very socially anxious. You have a lot of social anxiety. You don't have any experience approaching women. You're not sure how to build attraction. You don't understand the framework on how to do that. So just being you isn't going to get you to the 8, 9s, and 10s. Or if you're a guy that wants to have, a fulfilling relationship, but you find that women tend to fall off after the first date a lot, you might have a lot of nice guy traits, for example, right? Everyone's going to have a different case. But the point is that the current version of yourself may not be in alignment with where you're trying to go, and you need to correct some things. So techniques can be helpful for doing that. It can help you to show you how your behavior actually should look until it's more in alignment with your identity. And that's actually the thing that we're aiming for here. Identity is actually the goal. The goal is not to remember a bunch of techniques. The goal is to not always be in this mode of like, okay, what's the right move now? And then once I make that move, and then I got to make this move, and then I'll string this together, and then I'll say the perfect thing. You don't want to be in that mode. You want to be in this natural flowing state to where you're just embodying these things naturally. Your identity is in alignment with where you should have been all along. And it's more in alignment with the highest version of yourself, your full potential. So if you're a guy that has social anxiety or a bunch of nice guy traits, that is not your maximum potential. Those are things that are holding you back. So techniques do have a role, but we ultimately want identity. We want to embody an identity to where we're just operating on autopilot and we are naturally radiating attractiveness, essentially, right? We're embodying this masculine aura that is attractive to women, and it embraces masculine polarity. Right? So this is another thing too. Polarity. Dating operates entirely on polarity. It's your masculine polarity and her feminine polarity. And if you're a guy that, again, has like a lot of nice guy traits, that embodies more of the feminine polarity. So you have two polarities clashing and you won't have attraction, right? So we need to have polarity. But another thing that kills polarity is living in this mindset of just technique. Perform. Wear a mask. You're killing polarity because you're not even really being authentic. And this woman is going to be attached to a version of you that's not actually you. And that's going to be exhausting for you too, because again, it feels like you're wearing a mask. And it's really important that she must attach to you. The woman's feelings have to attach to you. It can't attach to a performance or a mask that you're wearing, because if it does, you're going to have to keep doing this shit over and over and over again. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to feel exhausted. And you're going to want to quit the whole thing. So not only does it take all the fun out of things and the enjoyment, which is what we're actually aiming for. And I think that's something that gets lost in a lot of dating content. It just becomes about technique, outcome, and all this stuff. And you lose sight of fun and enjoyment. Your life is supposed to actually get better. It's not supposed to become more work per se. And that's not to say that relationships don't take work or the dating process doesn't take work or, evolution, like I spoke about before, but you don't want to add extra work to your plate that's not even benefiting you in the first place. Putting on a mask and being a fake version of yourself and performing to try to win over a woman is extra work that's not even benefiting you to start with. And on the topic of winning a woman over, understand that performing is essentially just another form of simping. So when we think of simping, we typically think of a guy who's kissing a woman's ass or buying her a bunch of things and compromising himself. But performing is a way of compromising yourself. It's a way of just taking on this other persona in hopes that she likes that because she probably won't like you. So you're essentially qualifying yourself to the woman. You're trying to win her over. And that is a form of simping. So in order to stop performing for women, we need to embrace more of the masculine identity. You need to internalize this, right? And what does the masculine identity actually consist of in terms of dating? Well, the first thing is pursuit. So it's very masculine to see something I want and go after it. If I see an attractive woman, I go and approach her. If I see a woman on a dating app, I send her the message. I go after what I want. That is masculine. What's not masculine is chasing a woman. And chasing happens when this woman's clearly not interested. She's not reciprocating interest. She's not reciprocating the same energy, or she's not investing in me, but I keep pursuing anyway. That's when we get into weak behavior and behavior that's just not masculine, right? That's just a very weak stance to be in. Pursuit, masculine. Chasing, not masculine. The next thing is leading. So I pursue the woman, she agrees to a date, and I'm going to lead her to the date. I'm going to make the plans, I'm going to run the date, so on and so forth. I've seen guys say things like, why do men always have to lead everything? Why can't the woman do something? The answer to that is you should inherently want to lead things. Do you really want a woman to lead you? I don't want a woman to lead me. It would actually feel weird if this woman came and approached me, set up the date, ran the whole date. It's just weird. Like, she has to get on my program. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm going to get more into that here in a second. But the burden is on you to lead, at least if you want feminine women. If you want like these super masculine chicks that just call the shots, then, have at it. But assuming that you want feminine women, there's an expectation on you to lead because of polarity. You're the masculine, she's the feminine. So the next thing is escalation. So once we're on the date, it's up to me to escalate things now. Whether that means kissing the girl, sleeping with her, taking things to a second date, whatever your preference is. You have to move things forward. Again, it's on you. And really that should be your inherent desire anyway. You're a masculine man. Go after what you want. You desire this attractive woman, right? Then do something. Now from there, it's about outcome independence. So I pursue what I want, I lead, I escalate, and then from there, I'm independent of the outcome. I don't care what happens. If this girl leaves, bye. If she wants to stay, great. I don't care. I'm doing all this with outcome independence in mind. I'm not seeking her approval. I'm not seeking a certain outcome. I mean, obviously, if I pursue an attractive woman, I would like to take her on a date. I would like to have things go well, but I'm not attached to that. You can pursue something and not be attached to it. That's the point here is I'm not like hoping for the outcome. I'm not attached to the outcome. If it doesn't go the way that I intended it to go, I'm not crushed by that. It doesn't get on the inside of me. It doesn't impact my self-worth. And then from there, it's about letting the chips fall where they may. That's part of outcome independence too. Whatever happens, happens. I don't need a certain outcome to be happy. I'm already living a fulfilling life. I'm fine. I don't need this girl to like me. I don't need this girl to sleep with me. I don't need this girl to be my girlfriend. Whatever happens, happens. As long as I feel like I did my part here, whatever happens, happens from there. Let the chips fall where they may. Now, if I feel like I didn't do my part here and I feel like there's things I can genuinely improve, or I'm not satisfied with how I ran these different stages, then work on those, right? And that leads to the next stage here, awareness. Just be aware of these different stages. Listen to your gut. And we have our own self-evaluation too. So, if you could have, done better in these different areas, not in terms of performance, but just to your own standard. Like, I like to live up to I have my own standards of living, right? And if I don't live up to that standard in my own eyes, I don't like that. If I feel like I could have done better in these areas due to my own standard, not trying to win this woman over or living up to a certain standard set by somebody else or trying to perform, then I will be aware of that and refine my approach. So I'm not just going to be a blind dumbass about this whole thing and just go, oh, let's let the chips fall where they may, and I'm never going to do anything differently. I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm still going to have the awareness to refine my approach but I'm not performing though. Performing indicates that I'm seeking approval. I'm looking to win this person over. I'm putting on a mask. I'm not doing that. These are all things that I genuinely want to do. And that's what this is really about. Do what you genuinely want to do. You have testosterone flowing through your veins. You are a man. You have the desire to pursue attractive women. You have the natural desire to lead. I highly doubt you just want to be led by women. You have the natural desire to want to escalate. I'm sure when you're with an attractive woman, you want to kiss her, you want to sleep with her, so on and so forth. You want to be close to her. It's just about embodying these other traits. Outcome independence. Let the chips fall where they may. And then if you feel like you didn't live up to your own standards, have awareness of that and refine your approach. But stop performing. Stop trying to win this woman over. The thing about this is masculinity doesn't seek approval. You do what you want to do when you want to do it. Stop trying to seek approval. That is the root of performing. You're seeking approval. You have to stop caring about the approval. Who cares if this woman likes you or not? Who cares if this woman comes back? You had a life before her. You'll have a life after her. Who gives a shit? Like, you really have to embody this in order to stop performing. This really has to get deep down on the inside of you. And one of the ways to do that is to picture yourself radiating greatness. This is something I think about a lot. You can consider it an affirmation if you want, but it's a thought that goes through my mind, and I recommend that you internalize this too. If you're a guy that has done the work on himself and you're on this upward trajectory in life, you need to stand in that value and recognize your own value. And a thought I like to think about is I radiate greatness. If you are actively putting in the work to be a better man every day and you're on this upward trajectory and you've done the work on yourself and you are genuinely a valuable man, you radiate greatness. You need to have that on the inside of you. You are valuable. One thing that happens is a lot of my clients that I talk to, or a portion of my clients that I talk to, and just what I notice with guys in general, is a lot of guys have trouble recognizing their own value. And that can come from a variety of things. Maybe it's trauma when you were younger, the way you were raised, so on and so forth. And, I'm not a therapist. That's out of the scope of what I do. However, you can actively start to think about your own value and what you bring to the table and have an appreciation for that and understand that you radiate greatness. So if this girl falls off, don't care. This girl falls off, don't care. This girl wants to stay, great. This girl falls off, don't care. If this girl stays, awesome. Doesn't matter. You're acting more like a magnet. I'm drawing the women in who genuinely desire me and want to be around me, and I'm repelling the women who don't agree with what I have to offer. I'm not trying to win over every single woman. I don't care if every woman likes me. I don't want every woman to like me. I only want the women in my life who actually align with what I want out of life. If she also brings value to the table, though, that's another thing too, is she has to bring value. Not anyone can just come in these gates. That's another mindset that you want to have too. Get used to disqualifying women. Stop trying to qualify yourself to women. Right? Start Xing women out because they don't live up to your standards. Stop always thinking in this mindset of, got to win this girl over. How do I get this girl? How do I get this girl? What do I do with this girl? No, you got to start thinking, does this girl even fit what I want? Nope. Don't like her traits. She doesn't fit my standard. Got to get rid of her. Get out of this mindset of how do I win the women over? How do I qualify myself? How do I get the girl? How do I hook the girl? Start thinking more about this woman's traits holistically, right? Guys have this habit of focusing on green flags a lot. They'll give themselves a lot of reasons to go after a girl or to keep her around, or really it's not even a lot of reasons. A lot of the time it's just like she's hot and the sex is good. That's about how far the standards go. You got to have more standards than that. You got to ask yourself, does this woman even bring value? Is this even someone I even want to be around, even if it's a short-term thing? Do I even want to deal with this chick? Like, why do I care so much about her approval? I don't need to win her over. I'm the one that brings the value. And that's not to say that she doesn't bring value too. But again, if you're genuinely a guy who has done the work on himself, you're doing the work, you radiate greatness. Recognize your own value. And when you start to embody all of this, it's going to allow you to be authentic rather than editing and suppressing yourself. Because you're going to become firm in your identity, your masculine identity, and the value that you have. And you're not going to be seeking approval of women. Because it's really a privilege for them to be around you in the first place. This is essentially how you stop performing for women. It's founded in your identity. It's based in your identity. And this doesn't mean that techniques are useless. Techniques can help fill in the gaps if you're not sure what to do at certain points, right? And again, it's about living up to your own standard. But it is really about embracing this masculine identity and not seeking approval with women and understanding the value that you bring to the table, right? And not caring if this girl falls off and this girl falls off and all this stuff. Like, who gives a shit, man? Honestly, you got to get to this point where it's like, I don't care. I don't want the women who don't align with me. Now, with all that said, if you're tired from dating from a place of performance and pressure, and you want to date on your own terms and have a dating life that consists of masculine ease, clarity, and real options so you can get to where you're trying to go, and you want to do it in the most efficient way possible using my systems and my guidance, then be sure to fill out a quick application by clicking the link down in the description below for a chance to work with me directly in my coaching program. And with that said, I will see you in the next one.